Most of us probably know that they used to use milk cartons to post missing children. These milk cartons had a pretty far reach, as it would be seen all across the country. So today, we're going to talk about the very first missing milk carton kid, and his name was Atan Patz. Atan lived with his parents in Manhattan, New York, and at the time of his disappearance, he was in the first grade at the young age of 6 years old. For most of his first year, his parents had walked him to the bus stop, which was only about 2 blocks away. But this day, he finally convinced his mom to let him walk to the bus stop by himself. On May 25th, 1979, Atan packed up his school bag and took $1 so he can get a soda and walked the 2 blocks to his bus stop. But he never came home that evening. His parents got worried when he didn't come home from school, so they called the school and found out that he never made it to school. In fact, he never made it to the bus stop. Police were immediately called and hundreds of people came together to search for Atan. They even used bloodhounds to look for him. Luckily, Atan's father was a photographer, so they had many very high quality pictures they could share with the media and certain people around them. The Anderson Erickson Dairy in Iowa was a dairy company that came up with this idea. They thought that if they put missing children on the milk cartons, every American would see them when they sat down in the mornings to eat breakfast with a bowl of cereal or something like that. After Anderson Erickson Dairy started doing this, it didn't take long for other dairy companies to follow suit and do the exact same thing. They used Atan Pat's photo for the very first one. Sadly though, even though Atan was plastered on many milk cartons all across the country, no leads were coming up and no one could find him. However, in the early 1980s, the police began investigating a man named Jose Ramos. He had been accused by many other children in the neighborhood of trying to lure them into a secluded place. He had also been convicted of sexual assault in the past. He was a former babysitter of Atan, but there was no evidence tying him to the disappearance of Atan, so police had to let him go. Police looked into Jose Ramos for 30 years, but it was a dead end. So in 2000, they dug up a foundation of a shop that a local handyman had used. He had laid a foundation soon after Atan went missing. They didn't find anything, but it sparked new interest in the case and leads started coming in. That's when investigators got a new lead on Pedro Hernandez. He had moved to New Jersey and confessed to the murder to his church group. But before we get into the consequences of his actions, I'd like to thank Comparrot for sponsoring this portion of today's video. Now, if you love saving as much money as possible while shopping online, Comparrot is the perfect tool for you. Comparrot is a free Chrome extension that once installed automatically finds the lowest and best prices online. So whether that be for those shoes that you've been looking for a while, or that new phone that you really needed to upgrade to, no matter the product or website, Comparrot has your back. Comparrot members save about 34.5% per item purchase, which is a lot of money saved. So install Comparrot today with the link in the description box down below, or visit comparrot.io/restart to help you start saving money today. After Pedro confessed, he was sentenced to a minimum of 25 years behind bars. Atan's body has never been found. Pedro put him in a dumpster and Atan was never seen again. Milk cartons stopped being used in the 1990s when other means of spreading information became popular, such as Amber Alerts, in order to help find missing children.